Welcome, everyone here. This is a new show, kind of inspired in something we just did recently, where, hey, it's the Hall of Fame. What's up? What's down? Rather than do this for the month for the year, let's do this for the month. And I've got my good friend Chris Mouradian. How you doing?
Doing good, Kirk. How you been?
Doing good, doing good. So
All
we
right.
decided that we're going to do this monthly,
Cool.
and some of the things that I'm going to be talking about will replicate what I've already talked about for my Hall of Fame show with Evan Nolan. Some won't. And my good friend Chris, I'm going to let you open this up because we're going to be doing back and forth with up, down, up, down, up, down.
Sure.
So
All right.
I don't know what you're doing for up first or down.
All right. Well, my first up is comes from the world of hockey. Um,
Okay.
maybe somebody that
Up.
really for this is an up. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So somebody that probably already has his Hall of Fame credentials marked off, but in case there's a selector or two out there that wasn't convinced yet, Marc-Andre Fleury. He has now moved into second place all time in wins behind only Martin Brodeur, and also played in his 1,000th career NHL game. And he's only the fourth goaltender in history to do that. Patrick Waugh, Roberto Luongo, and Martin Brodeur being the other three. So a couple of big milestones there, putting him in some pretty rarefied air, as so to speak. But yeah, so he's my first up for the month.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. So I like that one. I guess I'm going to counter with another up from the great Midwest. Saying that though, it's from Canada. It's Shea Gilgis Alexander. We talked about him before, but Shea has been incredible in his last pro season. And here we are in this season where I think he's established himself as a top five player.
I would say so.
So, barring injury, that's going to be 2 years in a row where he's a top five guy. Also, too, selfishly, again, as a Canadian, he won a bronze medal in the FIBA, beating the United States, which, okay, Americans, I know that if the United States put their best players against the Team Canada, we wouldn't win. But they didn't. And if you were to tell me that here we are in, God damn it. So I'm 51. So, like in 1992, when I was 20, oh my God, we were going to beat the United States, be it tier two, tier three. I would have said, like, screw off. It's not happening. But it did.
Yeah.
And Shea is a big part of that. Shea is going to be, Shea's a Hall of Fame contender, or not Hall of Fame, sorry. Shea's a MVP contender. And it's incredible. It's amazing to watch because I never thought I'd see this happen.
I'll
So,
be, he's right up there with Steve Nash for top Canadian point guards.
well, here's the difference between him and Steve Nash. Nash wasn't born in Canada. Shea is.
No?
So, there's a bit of that. Also, too, he's not born far from where I am. Uh, Nash is born in South Africa. Whatever that means to you, I don't know. But this is a big part too, also, as a guy growing up in Canada, watching Vince Carter. Yeah, okay.
I remember Vince. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Vince Carter was, we love him, we hate him, if that makes any sense. Vince Carter, his descendants is a large part of why Canada won a goddamn bronze medal against the United States. And SGA doing this, there's just something special to me. Yeah, I'm flying the Canadian flag here, but
You're Canadian, you're allowed,
thank you.
and it's a good choice. He was
Yeah.
actually somebody that I'd kind of thought about this month as well, but I went a little different direction there.
Yeah, if I can just finish before we go with that. Also,
Yeah.
too, he won the Player of the Month.
Mhm.
So obviously he's on the record. So, but
That's
anywho,
right.
your turn.
All right. Well, I'll stay with up here since you went with Shea. I went with Therese Halliburton. From
I
Indianapolis,
had him too. Okay.
Indiana.
All right. I had him. I had him. So like obviously I won't do that next. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So again, another guy that's really ascended into a superstar role within the NBA, leading the Indiana Pacers there. He's all-star starter this year. He was all NBA last year. Should be right there again this year for all NBA honors. Um, Battling injury that could cost him significant money, depending on how many games he can play through the end of the year here. But when he's been on the court, he's been everything that the Pacers have needed and then some.
Yeah.
Running with some rarefied air there again with his numbers. He's him and Shea, two of the good young stars in the NBA that are going to carry the league going forward here.
Yeah, I think tying in there with Halliburton, he's somebody that I had too. So I forgot to mention with Shea, there's only a handful of players that you could put in the top 5 players in a year. Shea's that last year and this year. Halliburton is close from last year and close this year. He's injured right now. Halliburton is so good that they went all in to get Siakam, which I think means a whole hell of a lot. Halliburton is somebody who well, as a Raptors fan, I know that they won't win it all, but I'm now throwing my fandom. Throw that for what it means. Not a whole hell of a lot to Indiana.
Yeah, no, they're building something good down there. And like you said, they got a pretty tough division with Milwaukee obviously being as strong as they are.
Well, okay, so
Cleveland right there too.
all right, so let's go there. Uh, Milwaukee just here's somebody I have as asterisks as an elevator up. You already know where I'm going. Doc Rivers.
Mhm.
Doc Rivers is an interesting character for me. Uh, Champion in Boston, and then since then, lots of wins, lots of failure.
Yeah.
So now he's with Milwaukee, a team with Giannis, who has the best teammate he's ever had. So I can't help but say he's an elevator up.
If they can
Because
figure out,
you're in Wisconsin, so like
yeah,
I
yeah,
want your take.
yeah. So their problem is they were a very strong defensive team the last few years, and that's slipped. That's really what they say cost. A guy was here for such a short time. Griffin cost him his job.
Mhm.
He traded away Holiday, brought in uh, Dame, and he traded defense for offense there. And for it just it's worked, but it hasn't worked as well as the team did all aspects with Holiday. So Doc's got to come in. He's got to figure that out, find the right combinations, find the right motivation to get them playing the way they're capable of. I mean, Giannis is an all NBA player. He's an all defensive player, but he's only one player on that team. You got Lopez who can protect the rim, but the system really was kind of pulling him out of that role there. So if they can kind of get back to doing that, they have the talent there to win it all. They have a coach that has won it all. Now they just got to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Indiana's going to be a challenge. Cleveland's going to be a challenge, but fairly confident that Milwaukee has the team, has the players that can win it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know they lost their first game with Doc being the coach, but it was against Denver. It's not like
They'll hop.
you went up against a cupcake there.
They'll hop in game one. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be fun to see.
Okay.
And Doc, he went to school here in he's from, I think, Chicago area. Went to Marquette, had some success there. Played downtown, so he's familiar with the area. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Do you have another like elevator up?
Yeah, you can go with another elevator up here. Let's go to football here.
Oh yeah.
So Joe Tooney.
Ooh.
Guard for Kansas City. So second time, 5 consecutive Pro Bowls, second consecutive All Pro season for him. 3 Super Bowl winning teams he's been on. Going for his 4th one next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Interior linemen, as from our football committee, they just don't seem to get the attention that the tackles do, and they just really have a hard time pushing through to the election. So adding another All Pro, is going to help him. He's still a younger guy. He's really at the top of his game. He's got the respect of the players, around him. He's got the respect of the fans to vote for him now. I think that's gonna help him carry him the next couple of years. And like I said, playing with Kansas City, you're gonna be in the spotlight there for as long as Mahomes is out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Apparently, there's someone in Kansas City who's dating somebody.
I vaguely heard something about that. I'm not sure.
Love it. Okay. Do you have a couple more elevator ups?
Yeah, we can do that. We'll stay with football here. Another one that's probably maybe a given at this point, but 17th consecutive non-losing season. Mike Tomlin from Pittsburgh Steelers. Now that Pete Carroll has retired, Bill Belichick's retired. He is the elder statesman among head coaches, and all he does is put together winning teams.
Mm-hmm.
This year's team didn't really have the stability at quarterback. Yet they still found a way to pull out another winning season. He has the gift of getting the most out of his teams, even when the talent is not the best there.
No,
And
cool.
so,
Yep.
yeah, the only coaches with more consecutive non-losing seasons are Belichick and Tom Landry. So you're putting them up there with legends of the game as far as coaches go.
Yeah. I've got one more that I wanted to do for hockey.
Sure.
And I love that you're a hockey person too. So I said this to Evan my partner in the Hall of Fame show, he didn't necessarily agree with me, but this is my take, and maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong, maybe I'm right. I don't know. Uh, Boston had the most incredible regular season last year. I honestly believe that Linus Ulmark was okay, but Jeremy Swayman was the greatest backup goalie that there ever was. I truly believe that. Swayman is now a goalie, or sorry, now an all-star this year.
Mhm.
Uh, he's only 25. I think there's a lot that he can sort of like do. With Olmark, he was 28, 29. I don't know. But Swayman is the man who can become a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, sure. He takes over the crease at that young of age. He's already established himself as being an all-star. You know, Boston's a top-notch organization that's going to get talent to put in front of him. I don't see why he can't continue climbing.
Yeah, I honestly believe that. I think Boston last year was like one game away from saying like, okay, let's go with Swayman over Olmark, and maybe they're the champions last year. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what I believe.
yeah. No, that's an interesting one. He's gonna be fun to watch for the next 7, 8, 9 years here because I think
Mhm.
he's got a good career ahead of him there. Good, fun
Yeah.
young player.
I guess staying with the elevator up.
Yeah.
My favorite player, not necessarily my best player, is David Pastrnak.
Mhm.
Pastrnak is so good. Now he's also number 5. Best winger in the last 5 years. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. He's he's dominated.
Mhm.
You look at his numbers; they stack up against everybody's.
Mhm.
Um, he's in his prime right now. He's he is somebody that's going to be competing right there at the end of the year for scoring titles. He's going to be leading his team to the Stanley Cup playoff championship runs. Boston's a scary team with him up front and Swayman in the back.
Mhm. All right, cool. All right, so that's our up. So what's my elevator down is not in these sports. So I'm gonna let you
Sure.
quarterback this one.
Yeah. So my first down, somebody we mentioned last time we did this for the end of the year, Russell Wilson. Just the elevator just kept going down for him last season. When we talked in December, he was struggling with the team, and since then they went ahead and they benched him. The word kind of came out that they had approached him about modifying his contract, um, basically indicating that they're ready to move on from him. And after the exorbitant fee they paid Seattle to acquire him, both in players and in draft talent or draft picks, to basically be 2 seasons there where it's just been a real shit show for Denver. I, I I don't know. He with Seattle, I saw a Hall of Fame player. With Denver, I I don't know.
Mhm.
And if they are going to move on from him again at the end of the season here, hopefully he lands somewhere favorable to kind of put some of the shine back on his career because I'm not sure he did enough with Seattle. He did have a Super Bowl win. He didn't have any MVPs though. He had minimal All Pro, Pro Bowl type recognition. So I know the Lombardi trophies carry a lot of weight with quarterbacks. Um, but he's somebody that was probably looking like a shoe-in that's maybe a shoe-out now.
Yeah, he gives me Donovan McNabb vibes.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't all that long ago where articles would come up where it's like McNabb is, especially in that rare, what was that? He was with Washington, right?
He played
And
with Washington towards the end of his career, mostly with
yeah,
the Eagles there. Yeah.
yeah. And it's so similar. And personally, I think Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. I really do. Saying that, watching what I'm seeing here is a little scary, but for him,
Mhm.
we'll see what happens moving forward. But yeah, that those are great elevator downs. You know what my massive elevator downs are. So like,
Yeah.
do you want to do a couple more before I go with mine?
I can go with another one here.
Thanks.
Somebody again that I had mentioned back in December,
Hmm.
and that's Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
back when we talked about him in December, they were kind of
Hmm.
had just relieved Frank Reich of his duties. The city was kind of getting a little impatient with his leadership. Bryce Young hadn't really had the rookie season, especially considering what CJ Stroud did, taking one pick after him.
Mm.
Then we had him decide to throw a drink at a fan at a game and have that caught on camera. And
Yep, 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 yep.
very expensive drink that he threw there after the NFL levied a fine on him. Um,
Well, it's
a lot of,
expensive for you and I, not for him.
that's true. Owners, there are owners that are elected to the Hall of Fame based on you know things that they do. Um, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that an owner will be elected again, but he's definitely not putting himself in that conversation anytime soon here.
No, he's not. Yeah.
So for the fans of Carolina, I hope their new coach can come in. They can figure out Bryce Young. They can get get some footing underneath them there as an organization and see what they can do down there in the South.
Hmm. Well, well, I guess it's throwing back to me here.
Yeah,
Uh,
floor is yours.
okay.
Matt is yours. How's that?
Whap, whap. Uh, all right, Chris. First question: are you a wrestling fan?
I enjoy
No,
wrestling.
no
I don't.
wrong answer.
Yeah, I don't really watch it much anymore. I did watch a lot in the '90s. The Monday Night Wars was kind of where my peak enjoyment was.
Okay. All right. So, God damn it. For myself personally, professional wrestling was a big part of my life, especially in the 80s when I didn't have a whole lot going on. I'll admit that here. It's kind of funny. Chris and I are part of a group, our little football group, and I'll ask you this: I think that we've got some geeks, uh, some non-geeks, some people who were jocks and whatnot, and people who, if we were all at the same time in high school, we probably wouldn't be friends. Would be friends? Would that be
Yeah,
safe?
I can see that. Yeah, there's a pretty wide ranging group of guys that we got
Yeah.
in that committee there.
Yeah. So I would have been that nerd. And I don't have a problem telling you that. Obviously I don't, because here's my dog. But that's just how it was. All right, go down. Uh, Pro wrestling for me was a giant part of my growing up. I don't know that I'd be here talking to you without it. That's how important it was to me, because I was that depressed, that blah, 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 whatever. I mean, so here we are in 2024 looking at Vince McMahon, who was a mess. Such a mess that I'm trying to come up with the words, Chris. Here, I'm struggling. I really can't come up with it. But just the most. Help me out here, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, I see. I would assume that most people kind of had heard what was alleged and
Mhm,
through court filings and released text messages and things like that. The wrestling business would not be around today without Vince McMahon.
mhm.
What he did back in the '80s, buying up a lot of those um, regional circuits and things like that, consolidating the talent under the WWF umbrella, the rock and wrestling through the '80s, the Monday Night Wars through the '90s. He is the reason that pro wrestling is a $5 billion investment for Netflix today. It's also why it's being traded publicly with the UFC under on the stock exchange.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, everything you just said, like I could not word it. I guess it's sort of funny because I sent messages to Chris and said like I can't be emotional. Well, here I am emotional, and thank God you're sort of like doing all of that, because like this is a huge part of my life. Uh, Long story short, what he did is the most disgusting thing I've ever come across. Uh, when I came up with this website, Non Hall of Fame, a big part of it was naming who should be those who were ranked.
mhm.
Vince was number one. So what do I do here? And I don't know the answer here. Vince McMahon is number one on my WWE list. Saying that, Vince McMahon's a piece of shit. I can't say it any more bluntly than that.
Yeah, I mean, even beyond before this, I mean, there was how many
Oh,
times
God.
was he named in his name come up with some sort of seedy type of scenario stories?
Yes, but nothing this visible.
No, no, it ratcheted up for sure.
Yeah. So
Um,
what do I do? And I don't know what to do here with this. Right now, Vince is right now ranked number one.
sure.
Do I do Vince as number one asterisk? And I've done that before with Pete Rose and whatnot.
Mhm.
I don't know what to do here. Uh, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever come across, because in terms of my Hall of Fame thing, when I look at this, Vince belongs in the pro in the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
For sure.
Saying that, there is no more disgusting individual that I can think of. What do I do?
Well,
Chris, I don't know. I don't know what
they
to
forced him
do.
out. They forced him to resign. So obviously the parent
Mhm.
company that they trade on, that owns them for felt strongly enough about the allegations, the evidence that they may have seen to take that step. Um, as far as the website ranking, go with your gut. Just if you feel like,
Asterisks. My gut's an
yeah,
asterisk.
you do an asterisk and you wait and see what comes of any sort of legal proceedings and
Oh,
reevaluate there.
God damn. Yeah. Right now, there's a million people in Africa saying like, "Wah, first world problems."
Yeah, we're allowed those every once in a while. Come on.
But yeah, like that's something that has been a big problem for me, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Uh, it's it's um it's tough because like you said, it's just so salacious and so unseemly that and part of you just wants doesn't want to believe that it's even possible for somebody to want to do that kind of stuff. And then
Right? Who does?
yeah, and then to have it be somebody that you have you know emotional attachment to from your youth, from growing up, and from um what he built gave you growing up. It's a tough situation, and I think you just kind of take some time, let the mind clear a little bit, and
I
then
guess we're just
you
living
know
with it, right?
yeah, it, I think the asterisk is for your website is a good start, and let it play out in real life and adjust from there.
All right. Well, that's my biggest elevator down. Do you have one?
Yeah. That was really about all I had was the two I mentioned before. It's kind of a time of year where a lot of like positive things are happening. You got all-star teams, you got for the NBA and the NHL, you have all pro teams for the NFL, the playoffs going on. So it really is kind of an odd month here where everything seemed to be um, good news, which we like good news. Good news makes us happy.
All right. Awesome. All right. So, well, I guess we'll close this off. So, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make it a great day because it doesn't come again.
I
Take care,
know.
everyone.